Thank you for coming to the Straight From Me with Bryan Garner podcast YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications button. Thank you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 6 of the Straight From Me with Bryan Garner podcast. You can reach me on the following social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Search Straight From Me, and Twitter at Straight From Me 1. You can listen to me on most of your favorite podcast providers. Again, just a heads up, I've moved to host another hosting site. So if you're having issues finding me, go to bgarnproductions.com. That's BGARN Productions.com. Go to the drop down on the upper left and click to find out where I'm at. I'm also trying a little bit to sell a little bit of merchandise on the website. It's just a few items. Just check out the website and for all the information. On this show, we'll take a look at world and national news, and I will offer my opinion on what's going on out there in the world today. So sit back and let's start off today with national news. I'm going to go on a tangent today. It's time for you as Americans out there to choose a side. You're either going to be a part of the problem or a part of the solution. You're either going to be for all of this Antifa being entrenched into protests and rioting and taking over a section of Seattle, stoking fear and violence against their own citizens of this little settlement, or the people that are against armed borders and border walls, but that's exactly what they have now. Or you're going to be a part of the solution, which is basically Team USA, which understands that all the injustices are wrong, but not everything has to be an injustice that is met with violence or hatred, and build as a movement that's focused on one race, religion, or ideology. Yes, what happened to Mr. Floyd was a horrible, horrible thing, and the police officers deserve their punishment. Every one of them. But the focus needs to be, bring us all forward, should be all lives matter. And I know that's horrible to say, but all lives matter. Every single one of us. No one race is better than others. Not just lumping everyone into the same horrible category as is one. If one is bad, then they're all bad. No. Which is the reason the Democrats are falling all over each other to get out and tell you that just Black Lives Matter. We're now trying to change history by removing from the past our statues and so on and so on and so on, just to appease one group. They're talking about these statues represent hate, not realizing that some of these statues and monuments that they're taking down are from the Democrat Party. I understand, but in essence, what did you do about the historical aspect of all this? The historical aspect is still there no matter what you do to the statues and monuments. If we can all come together as one nation and have a civilized conversation about the past and continue to right the ways of the past with actual conversation instead of knee-jerk reactions, then this would be a lot easier on both sides. This whole defund the police mess that is being pushed by the Antifa-led protesters and, of course, by Democrats. I'm not talking about the peaceful protester guys. This demand in particular is absolutely absurd. You could push for more racial equality in your hiring. You could push for your national leaders to afford you a better shake in life. No, you push for defunding the police. While Antifa is unlawfully taking over a 6-block section of Seattle, making it their capital, while your Democrat mayor and governor allow it to happen. I'm not calling for civil unrest, but what's going to happen is there going to be copycat actions all over the country if there is no fighting back. There have been shows like Live PD, one of the most popular shows on TV, and the show Cops, which has been on the air for 32 seasons, but all of a sudden it's a bad show, have both been yanked off the air. HBO isn't going to stream the highest grossing film of all time after being adjusted for inflation, Gone with the Wind anymore. Even though Hattie McDaniel became the first African American to ever win an Academy Award. Now these idiots are going after the kids' cartoon, Paw Patrol. They're on social media acting like total morons, calling for the euthanization of the lead dog, which happens to, of course, be a police officer. Wow. I'm going to talk to Democrat voters for a second. Democrat voters, please do not fall for this. There are bad policemen out there. That's very obvious with what happened to George Floyd. That was horrible and should not have ever happened. But this is not a systematic nationwide issue. Is this a problem that needs to be addressed? Absolutely. But this is not the answer. If you live in an area of high crime, you kind of need the police. What would stop the criminals from running wild in that city if the police were defunded? You could offer things like more police training, maybe change the way police subdue those that resist arrest, like not teaching the chokeholds and stop teaching placing your knee on the neck and back. Just simple fixes like that could help make a large difference. You then have Democrats trying to capitalize on the riots and the police by the usual browbeating of Trump at the end of every turn and accusing him of publicizing a horrible thing like the riots by taking a picture while holding a Bible, which leads, let's really get serious for a moment, is why they are really so upset, because he held the Bible. They accuse the president of having a photo op. All right, so these left-wing hypocrites have, on numerous occasions since then, got their picture taken with protesters, even got themselves dressed up in African garb and posed for a photo while kneeling in solidarity to show that they are all with the Black Lives Matters movement. You know, just like a photo op. There's been a lot of praise by the Democrats for the same Antifa groups that are causing so much of this chaos. The New York Police Department held a defiant press conference earlier in the week. They basically were chastising those that were calling for the defunding of them. They condemned the actions of the 4 Minneapolis policemen that ended the life of George Floyd. They also condemned the city, state, and world leaders that have disgraced the good policemen. Good old crazy Joe Biden has backed away from his defunding the police crazy talk. He has came out and said now he doesn't support the term defunding. He does, however, support changes in the way police are trained and conditioning federal aid for them, which I'm okay with that part. But what I'm not okay with is now, after 46 years of Joe Biden being in office as a senator and vice president, he's now going to bring the change that is needed to help Democrats move forward. What a joke. Joe said at a town hall earlier this week that George Floyd's murder had a bigger impact than the assassination of Martin Luther King. Wow, that's insane. Democrats, this is your man. Wow, he's lost his mind. Look, George Floyd's death should have never happened. You cannot, however, compare his death, no matter how tragic, to one of the authors of the civil rights movements like Dr. Martin Luther King. That's a very broad stroke he's painting. He had yet another gaffe later on in his same town hall. I'm assuming here that he lost his place and in his notes. I believe the direct quote was, you know, the rapidly rising with I don't know, unquote. Yep, that was a direct quote, folks, from someone trying to become president of the United States. We all know that's not the first time he's done that. He's also now trying to take the Hillary Clinton approach, saying he is so worried that Trump is going to steal the election. No, Joe, you moron. Trump is going to win the election by doing exactly the same thing he did in 2016. By going out and talking to voters, whether it is through meetings or rallies, not like you staying in your basement because you have a huge gaffe problem. This is the best the Democrats have. Joe has been operating from behind instead of going out and getting ahead. Trump has already proven he can do what it takes to bring the country back. He's already proved that there was no Russian collusion. He's already proved that the impeachment was a hoax. He's had 20.5 million jobs that were added back to the economy last month after everyone started going back to work. Then the employment rate was, I believe, around 20 to 23%, or nearly 40 million people, because the economy came to a screeching halt during the coronavirus. A lot of the country is opened back up in May, which dropped the unemployment rate to 13.5%. Many jobs will come back as the rest of the country opens back up to get the economy back close to the 4% unemployment rate that it was before the coronavirus. Speaking of the coronavirus, it's amazing how that has all of a sudden taken a back seat. Unfortunately, from the Democrats, they were trying to their best to make the economy tank until November. Trump has been ridiculed for months about the way he supposedly handled the virus by the Democrats and the mainstream media, CNN, MSNBC, and all the others, blah, blah, blah. Now, that has fell by the wayside. Since protests and riots have happened, the media is now focused on those like Don Lemon a week or so ago when Trump called the National Guard in to take care of some of these riots. He and his horrible CNN show were screaming that Trump has declared war on the American citizens. He's probably the biggest hypocrite in the media today. Then you have the White House press corps. I love listening to these press conferences that Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany, I hope I said that right, she's on fire. She shuts down the reporters bull every single day, and she finds the way she does it is highly amusing. She takes them up to task every day on everything they try and throw at her, and she just leaves them there. It's just funny, like a mic drop type of moment. I'm going to tell you right now, we need to have our own call to action. If you're a conservative, you need to take the time to get to know who is on your ballots, all the way from your local legislation, your mayors, your city councils, your local judges, all the way to the House and Senate, and of course the president. There needs to be a concerted effort to squash the Democrats all the way out. If these last few years have shown you anything, it's that Democrats' hatred for Trump, they will do anything to try and stop him and gain back political power, which if that happens, all the work Trump has done will be lost. That's going to wrap it up for today's show. I ask you to go to all my social media platforms, like pages, follow pages, go to YouTube, like and subscribe to that page, or just subscribe to that page, and please turn on the notifications because that helps also. Also go to bgarnproductions.com, BGARN Productions.com, to check out where all these podcasts are available at, and also to see the merchandise I'm trying to try out and sell. Thank y'all, and until next time, bye.